Nearly 250 children go missing in our country every single day. We live in an era surrounded by high-definition CCTV, real-time GPS tracking, and walled, gated communities. Yet this chart of recent National Crime Records Bureau data reveals a disturbing trend. The line for missing children is steadily moving up, even as those technological safety nets expand. The response to this reality fractures along geographic lines. In rural areas, parents report relatively low daily anxiety, allowing their kids high mobility after school. In urban neighborhoods, parents tightly script their child's free time with tuitions and hobby classes just to keep them in predictable locations. Inside those cities, the emotional weight of tracking a child's exact coordinates falls disproportionately on working mothers, who report the highest levels of guilt and stress regarding childcare. We try to buy peace of mind by outsourcing safety to technology and rigid scheduling. But creating predictability of a child's location offers only an illusion of true security. The environments our children navigate are deeply fractured. In modern urban settings, the entire neighborhood crowd refreshes every 2 to 5 years. That constant turnover breeds a culture of mutual anonymity. Adults are highly cautious of social boundaries, actively avoiding interaction with children they don't know. Compare that to rural communities, where families have decades-deep roots. Neighbors carry a strong sense of accountability and have zero hesitation about stepping in if they sense a child is in trouble. Without that community watch, we rely entirely on the rules we teach our kids. Yet adults project their own gender biases onto the dangers they anticipate. Girls receive lessons heavily focused on identifying good and bad touch, while boys are drilled on road safety and physical fighting. This leaves massive empty gaps in comprehensive survival skills for both. The modern urban child is uniquely isolated. They walk among strangers who prefer not to intervene, equipped with a fragmented rulebook that prepares them for only half the threats. This vulnerability peaks between the ages of 7 and 11. The developmental psychologist Jean Piaget mapped out exactly how children in this age bracket process reality. He defined this as the concrete operational stage. It means children understand the world in highly literal, black and white terms, relying heavily on immediate visual cues to make judgments. To a concrete thinker, an adult who is well-dressed and soft-spoken automatically gets sorted into the good person category. Meanwhile, someone with a loud voice and a big mustache is immediately labeled as bad. Because of this literal thinking, children can perfectly recite safety rules like don't talk to strangers in a classroom, but fail to apply them in the real world. When you ask a child about taking chocolates from an unknown adult, they know the answer is no. But their logic collapses the moment a predator reframes that exact same item as a special offer or a discount. They know exactly which route to walk home from school, yet they will eagerly agree to follow someone into an alley if that stranger simply asks for a quick favor, like helping to lift a heavy box. And that strict rule about ignoring strangers vanishes completely if the unknown adult bypasses suspicion by casually dropping the name of a family member. Adult-designed safety rules fail precisely because they rely on an adult's ability to decode deception. That is a sophisticated cognitive skill the concrete thinking child simply does not possess. Recognizing that their environment is anonymous and cameras aren't stopping abductions, highly anxious parents often resort to heavy fear messaging to keep their kids in line, but inducing panic is a psychological dead end. SEER doesn't teach a child how to evaluate a complex situation or think critically. It only teaches them to freeze. External surveillance only monitors a child. It doesn't prepare them. We need to move away from relying on technology and instead help children practice the logic of real-world interactions. We do this by replacing rigid rules with conversational scenario quizzing. Give a child an open-ended visual prompt, like a flashcard showing a stranger asking for help finding a lost dog, and ask them what they would do. Engaging in these low-stakes conversations gives adults a clear gauge of actual comprehension. It forces the child to practice decoding deception in real time. Surveillance systems can track a child's location, but they cannot track a predator's intent. Teaching a child to recognize and name the specific tricks used to bypass their boundaries provides a layer of security that exists wherever they go, giving them the agency to navigate the world on their own terms.